One. Boom. Oh. Yo.
Are we live?
Yeah, we're live, dude. I was trying to. I always start it, and I wanted you to start it, man.
Okay. Hi guys.
What's up? What's up? Who are we, Shiv? Intro. Come
This
on.
is this is the Poke Tea Time podcast where we bring you the hottest takes on what's going on in the Pokemon community. This evening we have the GOAT, we have the legend, we have Chad with a J, aka Jad. This guy is a legend. With 1.88 million subscribers, he's almost on that 2 million mark. The man's is crushing it in Canada. I mean, Drake should be jealous because this guy has a beard for days. I mean,
Drake definitely did surgery on that beard. We know this. We know this.
but yeah, how are you doing, man?
Dude, honored to be here with some legitimate Pokemon fans. Appreciate you guys having me on, man. Shivam, you already know I'm a big fan of you. Yizzy, just met you, dude. I'm already a big fan.
Thank you. Nah, stop it. But
yeah, Q Yizzy saying she's 25 times in a row during the podcast.
I calm down a little, all right. I calm down a little. I only do it on my streams now. On my
yeah, sure. No, but guys, we have a pretty different type of podcast this evening. Typically speaking, you guys are used to us doing segmented podcasts as far as our podcast goes. We bring in different topics, but tonight is more of like a around the table discussion on the Pokemon community. The overall topic about this, the overall theme is things I didn't know about the Pokemon community. So for those guys who do not know, again, ChadWithaJ, Jad himself, is a YouTuber. He's a pretty prominent YouTuber on a upper echelon compared to myself and Yizzy here, and as well as majority of the PokeTubers in the Pokemon community. But the thing is that this guy is definitely passionate about Pokemon. He is actually a true Pokemon fan, and true Pokemon fan just means anyone who likes Pokemon. It doesn't matter when you started, but yeah, he started playing Pokemon Red, and I mean, TBH, he's probably an OG because he was posting evolutions and generation pack openings back in 2016. So, guys, without further ado, we have Chad with a J. Could you give us a little bit of introduction of yourself? Because
yes,
I tried my best.
No, you did a great job. You did a great job. Hey, we got Yizzy certified. Yeah. Yes. So, like you said, man, honestly, I know a lot of people in the community are super passionate about Pokemon and super passionate about protecting Pokemon. You know, people in it for the right reasons. And so I was really conscious of that, like entering back into the community because I did have a little bit of a hiatus. Like you said, I was uploading in 2016 with a really good friend of mine, David Parody, and then my business partner, Yizzy Boy, who are both huge YouTubers as well. With David has like over 3 million subscribers and Yizzy Boy has over 2 million subscribers. So yeah, we started doing the videos in 2016 in terms of Pokemon. And I basically got into it because when I was younger, I couldn't really afford Pokemon. Like all my friends would have packs and cards, and you know how it is, man, when you're a kid and there's like the hustle and bustle of figuring your way out on how to obtain these cards through like trading things, doing things for your friends, giving them like loonies and whatever quarters you have and stuff. So yeah, that's basically how I entered into the Pokemon community. My older brother was a big Pokemon guy too, so having an older brother really helps out with that stuff, introducing you to like pop culture.
100%. I have a half brother, and he sort of like because like my family, like we all love Pokemon, and so like my half brother, he's like he's quite a bit older than me, but I have older cousins as well, and so they come through with their binders and all that stuff, and they would just flex, and it's like, man, you want that, because it's like he would come over every summer just to visit, and it's like he'd bring something new. He had his blue version there. He eventually passed that down to me, and it's like it's one of those things where it's like when I mean I think it's safe to say that all three of us we have parents that immigrated here, and so like for them to buy like Pokemon, like for us to be able to get Pokemon product then was truly a privilege. And you know,
They were not buying us no Pokemon. Let's be real here. All right. My parents were saying,
make
yo.
A's. I had to get good on my report card.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I just was jealous. So like I think that's part of the reason why I grew up, and you know, I had this obsession with Pokemon nowadays. But yeah, I mean, yeah, talk a little bit more about where it all started. Where did that joy start? Like, what was that first moment where it's like, man,
sure.
I love Pokemon?
For sure. Well, basically, when I was, man, I want to say when I was in like grade 1 or grade 2, like back, I'm an old man. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like I'm 29 years old. So this was when I was like 5 or 6 years old on the bus. Somebody had the original Game Boy and he let me sit next to him. And every day he would be grinding on Pokemon Red. And then essentially through like, you know, holiday money and different things like that, I was able to buy a Game Boy Color. So that's obviously you guys know the second after the original Game Boy.
Yeah, that was my first.
And Pokemon Crystal came out, and I was able to use all my holiday money, and I bought that, and it was me finally playing it, you know, deciding what starter I wanted, going through the journey, figuring out all the Pokemon. I actually really do love the second gen Pokemon as well. Huge fan of that region, and yeah, got through the whole game and just fell in love with it. Obviously was watching the show the whole time. You know, when you're a kid, the things that are cool get around with friends and stuff like that. So yeah, that's basically how I got into the hobby originally.
Yeah, I mean that's I mean I think everyone can really resonate that. I think you know, whenever like average people like myself and normal people, we see a lot of these people who are, you know, that have quite a bit of a large following, or they're celebrity, like let's say Justin Bieber or Ariana Grande or even Logan Paul or anything of the sort to that nature. You know, there becomes this sort of disconnect between you know, normal people and like and big YouTubers and stuff like that, because it's like how do we know what they really went through? And I think Pokemon is this great sort of way to just basically have this sort of level playing field where we just sort of understand each other, and like the similar feelings that you had as a kid, like we know those feelings because we experienced the same feelings as a kid as well. And so I think that's just like the coolest thing about Pokemon. You know, when speaking of which, like you talked about, you know, coming back into Pokemon in 2016. What got you into Pokemon in 2016, like back again? Because I know a lot of us, we came back into a hobby at a specific point. You know, for me in 2016, I just got into Pokemon Go, and then that was it. And then I came back into card collecting in 2019. So what was that story for you? And Yizzy, what was that story for you as well?
Right. So in 2016 was when my YouTube channel like really like took off. So like with that, luckily, like I was able to like, you know, quit my other jobs, and like as views go up, I had more of an opportunity to buy more things for myself. And so we started our gaming channels, and one of my friends was like, yo, we finally have money. Like let's get back into Pokemon. Let's start opening some packs, have pack battles. Evolutions came out, and so it really resonated with us for like that nostalgic feeling of like an original, like it looked like the original set, the original base set. And Shivam, I know me and you have talked multiple times about evolutions, and look what happened. All right, the evolutions, it boomed. All right, and it's living on, and hopefully it's not getting reprinted. Please, Pokemon, I know if you're watching this, Pokemon, don't reprint evolutions. And so yeah, that's basically the biggest thing was just hitting that nostalgic feeling, you know, of the original cards. And so yeah, was able to do that and was able to create content with it too. And that was a big part, creating content. It was mixing both passions. Like I love creating content. I love Pokemon. The excitement of like the mystery of, you know, what card am I going to get? And that was honestly, there weren't too many Pokemon creators at that time. Like straight up, like there really wasn't. It was like a new thing of like consistent, like we were more like casual, I guess, like just kind of the original 151. We didn't know about like the amazing sets, like, you know, your Neo sets, your the sets pretty much after base set Jungle and Team Rocket. We didn't know too much about that. So now coming into it, especially like watching Shivam, watching your guys' clips on Instagram, TikTok. I'm learning about these underrated sets within Pokemon. That's just brilliant. But sorry, I'm blabbing. Yizzy,
No,
let's
no,
hear
this
yours as
is
well.
your mic. This is your mic. People know. People know. For me, I mean, it all started back when I was young, and but it was my cousin because my parents, they were like waitresses. They were basically waiters, and I'm basically not living the American dream, but you know, my parents came over with like $2,000-3,000 with 2 kids, but my cousin always
Yeah.
had whatever he wanted, and Pokemon was one of them, blue. And so my parents was like, worked hard, got me Pokemon Red, and I played that game probably 400 or 500 hours because that's all I played. And so coming back into it, I had the cards, and I would go to Walmart and I would buy some sparingly, but then like it kind of fell off in high school, and I saw Leonhart on, and then I was like, yo, I remember this. And so I went to the store and bought it, and this lady was actually restocking Hidden Fates, or not restocking, like putting it out. She's like, this set comes out next week, but I'm stocking this now. And so I was like, oh, okay, it's the new set, and I got one. And that's when this journey started. And yeah, I'm head over heels over Pokemon, and knee deep in as far as money goes.
Yeah, that's a nice set to get back into too, because Hidden Fates is like pretty much original 151, I assume.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah,
So-
it's like a combination of like all the set,
It has
all
the
the generations. Really.
evolutions, the Mewtwo's, got
Yeah.
your Charizards, got a lot
Yeah.
of Neo
Yeah, more
Pokemon.
modern stuff. Yeah, it's a whole it's a whole combination of like just great Pokemon across the board, where people just love a bunch of different Pokemon. I think everyone just has a specific chase when it comes to specific Pokemon. I think you can just pick out, a specific thing, and just like Yizzy said, if you like Mewtwo, you're gonna chase that Mewtwo. If you like
Yeah.
Cynthia as a trainer, you chase that Cynthia or Lucario, anything of the sort. I just think that set was just enjoyable as is.
Yeah.
Um,
And just
so-
after that, it was just like I was just researching. Like my days are spent like after work, even during work, I would consume and like just research like 4 or 5 hours of content. Information, and so it's just been a journey this past 2 years. But I have a question, Chad, and this is like segue.
Yes,
I know
sir.
we're just chilling, hang out, nostalgia. Like, who would have thought we would be here in like,
Look
20
at
years?
us.
I mean, yeah, like we were Pokemon. Like, who would have thought 20, 30-year-old, 29. I'm actually 30 years old, if you didn't know. So I'm older than you, Chad.
Dude, you're aging beautifully, my guy.
Asians don't
You're aging
raisin, you know?
beautifully.
One person.
Yeah.
I'm just the youngest one, so I'll chill in my
Yeah.
20s, guys.
And so I lost my train of thought right there. Oh, wait, what was I saying?
You were saying you had a
about-
question.
Oh, I had a question. Yes. So what part? And I know we're talking about nostalgia and all this stuff, but what part in yourself when you were like, you know what, I'm going to do this like full time, with
Yeah.
the YouTube stuff? Like, what amount of money, what amount of motivation actually pushed you overboard?
That's a good question.
Yeah, so like this is Pokemon aside.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
Pokemon.
This is just this is just content creation?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
yeah.
Chad's story.
So in terms of content creation, man, I had a really long journey. Like this wasn't like an overnight success.
Mhm.
I and just some like motivation, some wise words for the people watching is like the difference between the people who make it and the people who don't make it are the people who made it just never gave up. They just kept going. And so like I said earlier, I had a friend, David Parody. We were the two kids in our school who loved YouTube. We watched original YouTubers from back in the day, like Ryan Higa,
Yes.
like the originals, like the original Smosh. There were these vloggers that we used to love, BF1SGF, and so we were the kids, the weird kids who liked YouTube. That it wasn't a popular thing. It wasn't like a rock star thing like it is today. You're a rock star if you're a YouTuber.
Yeah.
And so my buddy David had a channel that had some decent amount of subscribers. I think it had like 5,000 subs. And he was like, dude, let's make some content together. You love YouTube too. And so we grinded for 4 years making videos, 4 years of like gradually going from like, 500 to 1,000. And then randomly out of nowhere, David's videos just started popping off, and this was 4 years into the grind. And every now and again, you would just have that beautiful, you just needed one W to keep you going for 50 more L's to come, and then you'd experience a W, and then 50 more L's. But it was just those W's that kept us going. And then the big turnaround was, we said, you know what, boys, let's move into a house. All right, we can't afford it right now, but who knows what'll happen? We'll work our 2 jobs on the side. We'll do our grind. And man, when we moved into that content house, our lives changed. Like, I uploaded a video that went viral. It was like, I was a camp counselor my whole, like, kind of 16 to 21. I was a camp counselor. We played this game where, Shivam, you will know this series of mine. You start out with a paperclip and you trade, You go to the malls, you go to the different stores, and you trade up. And man, I uploaded my first one in 2016, and I went from like 25,000 subscribers to like 150,000 in like 5 days. It was like an insane boom. And then quit all my jobs, said, all right, this was the biggest dub I ever experienced in my life. Let's focus on YouTube. And man, the rest is history. Lived with my boys for like 5 years straight. We had Content House. And yeah, we're continuing to create together.
Monopolized upon, each W. I think like like a lot of content creators don't really understand, and I sort of come to that understanding very quickly, like especially with TikTok. I think with people don't really understand that on TikTok, because of where you're producing so much content so consistently, you really do have to get used to taking L's. And every time you get that W, you just have to run with that W. So like I mean, sure, you'll get like 100 views on a TikTok, and then after that, you might get like 1,000,000 views on a TikTok, and it's like, okay, time to capitalize on that. And I think some people just kind of get frustrated. And I think something that you kind of said to me a while back sort of resonated, and it was like, you can always take breaks, but you have to come back. Like being a content creator, you can take breaks, but you just have to come back. Like you can't quit. So that sort of resonated with me, and that sort of like kept pushing me. So
be okay with taking L's. That's what
yeah.
I'm hearing.
Yeah,
Man.
be okay with taking the L on the reg, my guys.
The W's will come. You can only take L's for so long. A W will come.
There it is. Okay, that's cool. Thanks for sharing, man.
Yeah, no, really, dude, that was awesome. Great question. Appreciate that.
Yeah, and so we talked about, what got you back into Pokemon in 2016, but what got you back into Pokemon recently?
Right. So, as we all know, the pandemic happened. And essentially, with the whole boom of like, there was that second boom of Pokemon that happened, like, where like a ton of people got into the hobby, and it was at that point, and so many sets were coming out, so many new sets were coming. The 25th anniversary was coming up, and so me and my boys were like, yo, dude, Pokemon's making this crazy comeback. We regretted like taking a step back, but we're like, dude, this is insane. Like, as if Pokemon's making this crazy comeback. And from there, it was like a no-brainer to like, enter back in the hobby. Like, yeah, let's start creating content. Let's ride this crazy wave of Pokemon that's happening. And I think the sets that really got me back into it was I know it's still a little bit older, but Cosmic Eclipse. Cosmic Eclipse, dude, that set, just chef's kiss. Like, I got it traded to me in like a paperclip video. Someone gave me a Cosmic Eclipse booster box from a store. And yeah, it was crazy. And that was actually that was the only L in my paperclip series that I ever took, because when I traded it for a Nintendo Switch. Okay. At the time, it sounds like a good trade. At the time, it was a great trade because the boxes were going for like 195, 200. Switches were going for like 300. I think if you look now, Cosmic Eclipse booster boxes, and this was in Canadian prices, by the way, but in US prices, I believe are going for like 450 to 500.
Yeah.
400 to 500 range for a booster box, which is hilarious because the Nintendo Switch is going for way less than that now. So that's pretty funny. So is it because that they're not printing it anymore?
Yeah, so like initially they announced the reprint and it was part of it. And then because 25th anniversary, they used all those to print other stuff. So they canceled Unbroken Bonds and they canceled Cosmic Eclipse and I think one other.
Wow.
And so all of a sudden everybody's like, no, like we were looking forward to it. And all of a sudden, boom, like they're not reprinting it. And everybody's like, it's mine. I want to keep it.
I
Yeah.
still think that set could be open for reprinting because
It
like, you
could
look
be,
at, like,
but it was halted. The
yeah.
plans that they had
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
canceled.
If they go back to reprint Cosmic, that's going pretty far back now with everything. Man, like, don't they need to like? I mean, I'm pretty sure they just did another Vivid Voltage reprint,
Yeah, correct.
which they had to catch up on. And now I don't know what's getting reprinted next. I don't know what they have to catch up on, but they're new printing a lot of new sets coming up, like Chilling Reign. That's gonna have some, reprints along the way. And then I'm sure you guys have heard of Evolving Skies coming out in August.
Oh my gosh, that
which is going to be a crazy set.
Insane, absolutely insane.
And so, yeah, luckily too, like throughout this process, me and my buddy, it's your boy, we stream Monday to Friday doing like live breaks. We have like our whole little store set up and it's been really good. The community just growing it. And now the main thing that's actually been super rewarding is getting people back into the community. Like that's been a huge thing that we've noticed because a lot of our viewers don't really know too much about Pokemon.
Right.
But they're saying like, whoa, dude, I had these cards as a kid. Like, this is crazy. Let me buy a break and let me like hop back into it. What break should I buy? Like they're asking me like, what has the most familiar faces? I always say there's these Meowth boxes that has like Evo packs, Cosmic packs, and Unified Minds. Pretty sweet sets to open.
Sweet, yeah.
So you've been doing a bunch of breaks lately. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't been
vintage?
Unfortunately haven't done vintage because it's kind of expensive.
Yeah.
But that's a goal of ours for sure, to buy a vintage box.
It will happen sooner than you think.
I guess it's like your community, right? Your community, like you kind of
exactly.
They're like, oh, what is this? And you're educating them. Like nobody's going to drop $200-$300 on a pack right now.
Like you're also sharing that sort of joy with people. I think people forget that when it comes to breaks, but like I sort of see that sort of same progression with Yizzy. Like Yizzy started doing like modern breaks, and then here soon he's going to be doing he's trying to do a vintage box break here soon.
I will buy a pack, Yizzy. I will support your break. Oh, dude, it's like on standby. This guy had it in his right hand the whole time.
I just got it in.
Congrats, man.
A couple of weeks, it was like what last month he did a base set box break. He flew to Florida and did a base set box break. Oh man,
nice!
You got the fossil box? I thought you were doing jungle.
Fossil. This guy gave me a sweet deal on the fossil, so I'm gonna do a fossil.
Okay, that's fair.
Dude, the grind is real.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, yes. Next. Then you gotta get Team Rocket box.
Yes. Wait, what came out first? Was it jungle or fossil?
I think jungle came out first.
Jungle came first, then it was fossil.
But
it's okay. It's okay.
The jungle, it was first edition, and I wasn't about to drop like 14 on the jungle.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh.
That's fair.
Yeah.
See, like the thing is like Yizzy has a different way of collecting compared to mine, and we both appreciate each other's way of collecting. Like sometimes you'd be like, Shivam, you got on quick on to like this sort of thing before everyone else caught on to it. And I'm like, yeah, but you're here doing breaks and stuff, and that's something that I didn't do heavy at all. But that's really cool. That's a cool project that you've been doing. So like, how long have you been doing breaks now with your community?
Yeah, so basically the website is called copcards.com, and we're starting out with Pokemon exclusively, and then as we grow, we'll get into sports and Yu-Gi-Oh and different things like that. Digimon too. I love Digimon. Shout out to Digimon. Although this is the Poke Tea Time podcast.
Hey, we all love Digimon here.
But
we love Digimon.
Yeah, we started the website in the beginning of May. Yeah, pretty recent. And oh, sorry guys. Let me get the there we go. So like locking down a distributor in this boom is like a little difficult. But basically like how it works now is like you gotta like sell yourself. And so basically, you know, we let them know about our YouTube, our following, our base, and kind of just how we have like that initial like push, and
Yeah.
how like, you know, we don't need a brick and mortar because, you know, our webcams, our streams are our brick and mortar. Like
Yeah, your overhead is small already. Yeah.
exactly. And for those who don't know what a brick and mortar is, it's a store. So like basically like, you know,
Physical
a
store,
lot of them
yeah.
like to keep it traditional with like, yo, you need a store. You need a store. But like now with this boom of online, like so they're getting younger, they're transitioning. So we're
Yeah.
lucky to be on that forefront. And yeah, man, it's been great. It's been so, I'm sure you guys know, just having that backbone of a community, that like the very common names that you see, and then, you know, one at a time, that backbone just gets bigger. Just one, even just getting one a stream means the world. So yeah, really excited because it keeps me into the game, and I've been spending like a lot of time on it. And so
Yeah, and plus it sort of keeps you young, you know, like you know, like I get off work and you know I work out, but like I don't know what, to me, just like looking at my
You
own
work out?
collection.
yo,
No,
you haven't
I'm
seen
small.
Shivam's deadlifts, boy? You haven't seen
I'm small,
Shivam's
man.
deadlifts?
No, I don't work
No,
out. I don't work out.
I'm trolling.
Nah, dude. Yeah, I'm not yoked at all. I'm small. I'm still small. But anyways, like, you know, I look at my collection. I appreciate it for what it is. It's like, man, this takes me back. You know, like, and like, you know, being able to talk to like-minded people who are just as passionate about the things that you are. I think that's just like the best thing when it comes to you know, anything related to Pokemon. So that's really cool. I did not know you were doing breaks. But that's such an awesome thing that you're doing. So it's coptcards.com.
Poppedcards.com. Yeah, exactly. And like I was saying, the reason why I don't like splash it on my Instagram is because like
Yeah.
I really want to grow it like organically and like
Organically, absolutely.
exactly, and like not just kind of flood. And yo, Shivam, one thing I like about your collection is, dude, you have cards I've never heard of or seen or like pictured in my life. And I
Yeah.
think that's really cool because it's like a different like I almost want to say this and I don't want you to take offense to it.
Oh, I
It's
don't
like
take offense to
it's
anything.
like it's like a it's like a hipster collection. It's like, yo, this ain't no like, dude, no, I don't think anybody in the world has like your collection. Like it's like very one of a kind, you know? And
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. That's what I admire about um like that's pretty much why I hit you up actually at the time, which is a whole story in itself. Like I was the one who reached out to Shivam. Like he didn't reach out to me. I saw his TikTok and I was like, yo, I'm filming this video. I need a Pokemon consultant. Like, you know, like Pawn Stars, Yizzy, where they go and they're like, no, I got a guy to do this. So like I was doing the paperclip, I was doing the trading, which is basically like that. And I was like, okay, I got traded this Charizard card. And for the Switch, I went Switch to a Charizard. And I was like, yo, I need to get some sort of like consulting on like the pricing of this and like what it would maybe get graded at PSA and stuff like that. And reached out to Shivam, and a friendship was born.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
It was
awesome.
actually it was a crazy moment for me, honestly, because like I was on TikTok in August. I had 2,000 followers on TikTok, and I just it just sort of blew up. And I think, you know, a lot of that has to do with the exposure from other, you know, obviously celebrities at that time. You know, Logan Paul came in and he was making waves, and then you saw other celebrities and people out in LA making Pokemon popular again. And it just sort of blew up, and that sort of carried over to my TikTok. And actually, you're probably like the biggest person at that time who reached out to me. Like, you were the first person that reached out to me. I mean, obviously, like, you have your Pokemon influencers who I know and I talk to on a regular basis, but like, you're the first person with a sizable following that reached out to me via TikTok. And I was like, wow, like, where is this coming from? It's like, I didn't know I had this sort of reach, because it's like I was only getting, you know, a few hundred views or a few thousand views at that time. So
Right. It's dude, the internet's a crazy place. You never know who's watching
it
your
is.
videos, man.
Yeah,
Like
you
honestly.
never know. Yeah, and you know, at that time, you know, it was a really nervous moment. You know, you had me on your video, and I was like, man, this is
Yep.
crazy. And so I
And
was
dude,
like,
a lot of people loved it. A lot of people loved it. Like
yeah,
a
well,
lot of people were like, "Yo, this guy knows his stuff." And it sucks because my editor. So there was a part where you showed your card. My
yeah.
editor didn't put it in the video.
Oh,
Fun
man.
fact. And I was
Yeah, I
like,
remember that.
"Dude, what the heck, editor? What am I paying you for? Include the freaking card." But yeah.
And a lot of people were like,
A lot of people commented like, "Dude, where
yeah.
the hell is his favorite card?" So
Yeah.
there was you know, it's not perfect, the editing process, but yeah,
Hey, it's
that was
fine,
really funny.
'cause it's fine because like literally a week later, I flew out to Dallas and I now have my favorite card.
You did the trade, yes.
Yeah.
The PSA 8, right?
Yeah.
Insane. That's pretty much a down payment. You got a mortgage, brother. You got a mortgage in your hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I think somebody asked, what is your favorite card? Chad?
Yeah.
The favorite card that I have in Pokemon.
Yeah. What's your favorite card right now? And then what are you chasing? How about that?
Okay, cool. Let me grab it. I'll show a Kamehameha show the stream.
Hey.
All right.
Here we go. And he's gone. We'll see you later.
Shut up, Yizzy. No, I hate you.
I'm connected. I can't leave. You want to see my favorite card?
No.
I just got it in, dude. Or I didn't just get it in, but I bought another one. It's my second one. It is the Topps Chrome.
1 second,
Spectre.
gentlemen. There's a lot of slabs
You
here.
got a Spectra?
Yeah,
You got a
man.
Spectra?
Yeah, man. Topps Chrome.
Dang, showing me up with the heat.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. And then this one, this is not. This
Are-
is just regular Topps Series 1 Hollow.
You get the Charizard. Oh, is that the rainbow? Dude, you got a rainbow.
Yep.
Dude, that's a rare card.
Yeah. It's pack fresh.
So
minty.
for those guys who do not know, Jad just recently moved, so all of his stuff is still in the process of being packed and unpacked. So he does have his collection there. He's just in the process of getting things,
okay,
set
so
up.
that's what it is.
Yeah, and so like,
Shiv, why is your mic so close to your mouth?
Is it bad?
No, I'm just
Okay, I'm going to show you guys my 2 favorite cards that I have, and the card I'm chasing. So I've been opening a lot of Shining Fates. I've probably opened like 300 to 400 packs of Shining Fates.
Gee.
Never got a Shiny Charizard VMAX. I haven't got one yet. Crazy. So that's just like a classic chase card. But these 2 cards right here are easily
Let's go.
my favorites. All right, from the Legendary Collection. I know they're backwards right now, but we got the Dark War Turtle and the Charmeleon card in the reverse holo, the first ever reverse holos that Pokemon released. And yeah, I love it because it's kind of like, like I was saying, it's like the first reverse holo, and reverse holos are such a big thing in modern sets now. And also like they're starters, and they're great cards. I really like these cards.
I like the 8.5.
Yeah, the 8.5.
Yeah,
exactly.
unique.
Like for those guys who don't know, like he showed me. Oh yeah, so essentially this was his childhood binder, right?
What?
Yeah. These cards have been around for a long time.
And so like he showed me them, and I was like, you know what? Like at that time he had FaceTime. I think it was FaceTime. I think it was Instagram. You were calling me.
Yeah.
Or Discord. I can't remember exactly. It was either one of those. And you were showing me them. I'm like, wait. Though. See, the thing is that those are reverse holos. They're pretty rare, Alex. They're rare in terms of how hard it is to grade. But essentially, he showed me that. I'm like, wait, these cards are pretty solid in terms of condition. I'm like, but like. I never really give my sort of pre-grade when it comes to the Legendary Collection, because it's one of those sets that's super difficult to grade, along with Neo Genesis
update
holos.
PSA. There's only 3 8.5s of those Charmeleon reverses.
Hey.
It's just unique, Like, of course, people
call me Logan Paul, baby. I got 1 of 3. I got 1 of 3.
Yeah, okay, anyway, sorry for the interruption.
No, dude, that's great.
Yeah.
And so like the thing is like he's showing me, and I'm like, I don't know how well these are gonna grade, because like he's asking me my opinion. I'm like, I honestly don't know, but they look really solid. And so when they came back graded, the Dark War Turtle, and I think it was something else. I think it might have been the Charmeleon that he showed me. I'm like, bro, he got an 8.5 and a 9. I was like, that's difficult, because I've sent in a bunch of LC holos, reverse holos for clients, and they can. I've never cracked past a 6 for any of my clients as far as that goes. I'm like, man, that's solid.
I had a nice PSA person that day, I'll tell you that much. Yeah. It was a very nice grader.
Yeah. you should send him some flowers and chocolate.
Yeah, exactly.
Who was it?
But Oh,
No one knows.
it was John from accounting. Maybe I have no idea.
I wanted to send my cards.
Yeah,
I want an 8.5.
exactly. But
So like,
yeah, those are like those are like the best like kind of like vintage cards. I've graded a bunch of modern ones too, but
yeah,
as we know, like some of the modern ones they don't really like retain as much value now because of like the population that's out there. Like my boy just told me there's only 3 population. Like, dude, you look at some of these like Champions Path Charizards.
Sheesh.
There's more populations than like the small towns around my city. There's more Charizards than like the town of like Cornwall next to me. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah,
man,
Your Dark War Turtle reverse hollow it was a 9, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
68. So
insane, dude. I'll take that. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, and
That's crazy.
anything less than 100, in my honest opinion, like shoot, even 200 nowadays is solid as far as a pop count goes.
yeah.
Yeah, especially the higher grades. Like obviously like there probably not as many threes out there. But like for a higher grade low pop, like yeah, for sure, that's crazy.
Big old
Yeah.
facts.
So one question I wanted to ask is like, obviously you were part of the Pokemon community back in 2016, and then you came back into the Pokemon community. 20 Cosmic Eclipse came out what
I
2019,
think it was
right?
2019 is when Cosmic came out.
So
Yeah,
you came back in around that time. So you had this hiatus from like cards essentially for about 3 years, maybe 2 years, depending on when your last YouTube video was. What was like your difference in terms of like the community then versus now? Like, what are things that you
right.
see back then in comparison? Like, what do you see then that you don't see now? And what are things that you sort of see now that there are things that you possibly don't like and possibly do like? Like, what do you see now? Like, what do you see similarities in?
Yeah,
I just want to know what your opinions are.
that's a good question. One thing I would say that's huge nowadays is the sheer like really like detailed knowledge of like sets, prices, populations, cards. Like now it's like it's a business now. Like it's a hobby. It's a hobby, but we all know there's money to be made in Pokemon. Like we can be real about that. We can all agree on that. And so
Right.
nowadays that's what I like think is really cool is like you can ask somebody like there's somebody in our chat right now who's a moderator in our chat. We have a couple of our homies from the community. Big shout out to YBM Young Big Mac. Dude, I ask him any question and when I'm streaming, this guy comes back in like 2 seconds and knows it. Like it's really crazy how ingrained people are in the community and back then I want to say the differences in 2016 was I think it was really like almost like a naive community at that point. Like it was like just sheerly opening Pokemon cards. Not grading wasn't a thing. We never sent no PSA cards. Like we didn't really know much about that. And it's crazy. Like I want to like point out like Gary's vision. Gary, the Pokemon master of the community.
King
like
Pokemon.
like that vision and like that love for Pokemon so early and like his PSA grading so early, like that Pawn Stars episode where he came in with all those Charizards.
That's legendary.
Godfather.
Man, like there's a few people who have that like tunnel vision from like the 90s. He was probably opening packs. So like there weren't as many Garys as there are today. There's a lot of Garys these days.
Yeah, and so like back then, I mean, it was Gary and Birdman. So Eddie's is Gary's good friend. He's also an older gentleman as well. Him and both Gary, they sort of pushed Pokemon on to where it is as far as the collectible / investable side of the hobby. And he's the reason. Actually, those two men are pretty much the reason why PSA became the sort of standard as far as collecting goes. And we have different giants that we stand on the shoulders of, and I think that's like the coolest thing because for me personally, I came into the community. Grading at that time wasn't that big because it's sort of like there was a shift, and Yizzy could attest to it. There was a shift, and it went from like just opening packs, and then it sort of skyrocketed into being able to invest into a tangible / alternative asset. And I think that's something that people who who not only enjoy money, who not only like making sales, but also enjoy Pokemon at the same time. They see the best of both worlds, and it's like, man, I mean, I love Pokemon, and as a kid, you love Pokemon, and it's like, man, how cool would it be to make money while doing Pokemon, like doing two things that people find joy of. I think that's just like the awesome thing there is, and so like what you're doing is absolutely awesome. I think for me, I just became super ingrained. I know Yizzy, he watched a lot of videos. For me, it was more so reading population reports, and at that time, not a whole lot of people were reading population reports. I got into grading almost immediately. I started helping people out as far as PSA goes and getting their stuff graded. I started
Middleman
looking into
Shivam, best middleman in the game.
Nah, I'm not the best. But I think Bonnie is the best. Bo Danger, she's the best one in the game.
Forget Bonnie, bro. It's Shivam's time. We're talking Shivam.
Nah. No, this woman, dude, I kid you not. She has magic. I swear.
I'll tell you this crazy story, Chad. It was this Charizard, right? It was like a 6, and she wanted to like regrade it. She cleans it up, and it came back like as an 8.5 or 8 or something like first edition Charizard.
So dude, this is like, Toy Story 2, that scene where like,
yes,
where Woody's like getting cleaned up and stitched like up and like repainted. Yeah. This is like with the eye like follicle, like
yeah.
Dude,
triple, like
the thing is that this girl, I've seen her and like get a card where it has just like this stain on. I don't know if it was a booger or what. But like there's like, if you go on her page, those guys who are in here, shout out to Bo Dangerous. If you go on her page, she has like these before and after stuff. She was able, like, there's a recent one, I think it was a Squirtle or something, where it had like black dot.
Yeah, those are impossible to get. I don't know how she got that off.
Yeah, I don't know how she got it off, and it's one of those things where like she's so meticulous about her job, it is beyond crazy. And I think a lot, and the thing is that she's so good that Ludkins even gives her like props. Like that's how good she is.
Yeah.
But
she's got a lot of credibility behind the scenes, not in the forefront.
She's very business savvy.
Yeah, now because Pokemon is lucrative, she's like making a more of a presence in the forefront of the community.
Yeah, like a physical presence, like a community presence, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
So Shivam, for Christmas this year, I'm getting you a microscope set, a duster. All right, we're stepping up your middleman game. Stepping up your middleman game, brother.
A monocle, or what's that called?
It's called a loop. It's called a jeweler's loop.
Yeah,
we're getting you a jeweler's loop. All right, that's gonna be your thing.
Yeah. No, I don't need to do any of that. But I mean, the thing is that like, I started doing that. I started paying attention to things that just weren't really being noticed. Like, there's a lot of hype that was starting to come into Pokemon. I was like, well, I'm gonna start paying attention to things that deserve hype and that actually has potential when it comes to what's going on in Pokemon. And so with that in mind, I was like, you know what? Let me do this. And so it sort of paid off, and it kind of goes back to like this sort of conversation that Yizzy and I had, where it's like, Shom, you saw these things like super duper early compared to a lot of people, and Yizzy sees things in terms of content before a lot of people. But dude, you're crushing it as far as copped cards go. It's like, I think you found yourself in Canada, what you're doing, and this whole sort of community aspect, and I think it's such an amazing thing that you're doing, because like you're bringing that sort of joy to people, and it's such an awesome thing that most people don't really get to see. And some people they just see the money side of it, and that's not all of it. The money side is just great for being able to keep doing what you're doing. But like, I think for creators like ourselves, like, we want to be able to bring back that sort of joy to people, and I think that's what I see. I think you're one of the more genuine people that I've personally met, talk to as far as people outside of the overall bubble of Pokemon, so to speak.
Yeah, for sure, man. Like, the way I've been thinking about it is like, essentially, I could spend my evenings watching things, going out with my friends, doing whatever, but like I'm really enjoying like building this community and like actually having fun doing this stuff. And I have a question for you guys. All right, I'm gonna start with Yiz, and we're gonna go to Shivam after. All right, so
on the test run,
I'm gonna talk to you about like sets, because you're like, from what I gather, you're like, you know a lot about like your sets. So like, how do you tell a set is going to like maybe like become more like sought after, or like like investable, or like What
Ooh,
what are
that's a
some
good question.
things you
Both
see that
ways.
you're like, yo, like, and then for Shivam after I'm gonna ask you about like specific cards, like, but for Yiz, I'm doing like sets in total. Like, what do you look for, and like, what do you just keep your ear out? Like,
Is it modern or are you talking about vintage?
Do both. Do
a
both.
little bit of both, because I mean, vintage obviously is different
Sure.
because like,
Yeah.
you know, vintage it's sought after because it's so old, but like
I
modern
I
and
can
a
touch
little
on
bit
a
of vintage.
modern more, and Shiv can touch on a vintage, I guess.
I'll do both
The
with that.
as far, sheesh. Okay, as far as both, as far as modern goes, currently people look for, I guess the hype card, which is Charizard. When you look at some sets, but some of them like have actually beautiful art, and people really nowadays really appreciate it, like the alternate arts. In the Japanese version, they're all also secret rares, and I could pull one out, but I can't. So like the Sleepy Tyranitar, people enjoy that. Another something to factor in is also the playability of the cards. Right now we're in this pandemic and people are unable to meet up and play. But then, like, you know, a good example is the Dedenne. Like, it's not the most beautiful card, but it's really playable. And when it came out initially, it was like a $40 card for like just a ultra rare, you know?
So for those of you who don't know what he's talking about, the Dene GX is from the set called Unbroken Bonds. It was roughly between $40 to $50.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Whoa.
yeah,
Yeah, it
keep going,
dropped a
Easy.
little just because they did come with a promo version of it in a battle series. Was it called a battle series box that
Yeah, but
nobody wanted?
it's
Um,
also this whole the thing is that often at times when it comes to playable cards, meta definitely changes, and so like cards go completely out of rotation and they just don't come
I
back
think it's
sometimes,
still
and
in
so
it's still in rotation though, Shiv. It's
I think
just
it is right now.
yeah, it's still in rotation, and it's just been reprinted, put it in certain promo sets, and it's
Mm.
very easily attainable now. Let's see what else. What else did you ask? The chase cards, what people want. What people want, I think it's like there's a rarity factor, right? Like people love the rainbow rares, people love certain cards, and it's just mainly like what cards are more popular at the time. Like what people like,
Do
like
you
Pikachu.
think, do you think that like so like reprinting, like, do you think that has anything to do with like pricing?
Oh yeah, like reprinting a set.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like, you know, we talked about Cosmic. We talked about how it might not get a reprint for a
Oh,
while. Like, does that like factor into like price going up?
oh, 100. Oh, well, reprinting, yeah, 100%. A best example is Hidden Fates. Like, people know there's so much demand for it. So Pokemon has been printing that since what, 2019,
Mm.
and just keep going and going. And certain sets that just kind of fall off, like Rebel Clash. Like, we don't know when they printed that last. They call it Rebel
Yeah.
Trash too, but I don't know. It's a beautiful set to me. I kind of like it, but that's kind of where I see it going right now. Just
Right.
beautiful cards that bring nostalgia. That's why they brought Vivid Voltage back. The Pikachu VMAX Rainbow Rare, like it hits differently, and they see that people like it. And it's really hard to tell when like initially sets come out because people don't know. It's like, what's the pull race? There's this guy online. I don't know who he is, but he gives the
Dirium.
race. Is it Dirium? Somebody makes an actual form of it, like a very
Yeah,
unique.
so Dirium's is like one of those it's a card shop as well. They'll go through like thousands upon thousands of product and they'll actually open it. And typically they're I don't know if they're the initial people that comes out with these pull rates, but I think they're the finalization of those pull rates cuz like they get an exact number cuz like they'll open up like a huge ton of amount of product. Like they'll open up thousands of stuff. Like it's crazy to like get it down to like a 0.000 or 0.00 sort of statistical number right there in terms of pull rates. I don't know if Yizzy's looking it up,
Yeah, I am.
but
It's not.
Crazy.
It's not them. It's like a graph. They do it, but I'm gonna pull up an example and show y'all where they
Yeah,
get it from.
please.
But you can keep talking while I try to find this.
um while
Yeah,
he's doing that, I'm
so
gonna sort of
Shivam,
answer.
I'll ask
Oh, I
your
found
question
it.
to you, but more about specific cards. Okay,
Oh, there it
perfect.
is.
Let's look at this.
So right here, it's like right here. So you have ratio.
Oh,
I
it's
don't know if y'all can
blurry.
see that. Is it
Oh,
better?
okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
So
it's Dr. Applesauce.
well, no, he shared it. He shared it.
Oh, he shared it.
This
He
is my
shared it.
buddy. This is my buddy. He's a Funko Pop, but he always shares this. I don't know who makes it. I think it says it right there, but I know it's backwards. So, for example, in Battle Styles, which is the most recent one before Chilling Reign, The Tyranitar Alt Art is one out of 803 packs you can get that. The other one is the Empoleon is 1 out of 200. So that plays a huge factor. A card that takes almost 800 packs to achieve or to pull, takes a big factor. And when people see that, they're like, yo, that's what I want to chase, because people want to challenge, So me, it took me like less than 100 packs to pull that.
Dude, that's that's some good luck. That's some great luck.
Yeah, it's after a year of bad luck, My year has turned.
There you go. Back to what we said. Bunch of L's turned into a W, my man.
Hey.
Okay, no, that's an L right there. You did a dab right there, man. Speaking of dab, Migos just came out with an album, and that's fire. But
Hey.
to answer your question, I think of things a little bit more numerically, in a different sense. So like that right there is one way to look at it. So like the value that he is talking about is in the sense of like how difficult it is to pull the card, and that's where it's coming from. But one of the reasons why certain things also tank in value is the quality of the card. So typically speaking, Japanese cards have a better printing quality than English cards, and that's how it's always been. That's always been the case, and so that's why English cards do have a little bit more value. But it's also because of the fact that you have a different society here and compared to Japan. You have kids who are going to be more nostalgic about the English side of the hobby. But talking about the modern side, when you look at Sword and Shield sets that came out in the year 2020, the print quality was amazing. And so the ability to get PSA 10s across the board was just beyond easy. You look at a good example is Darkness Ablaze. Darkness Ablaze, you could literally send in a pack fresh Darkness Ablaze Charizard VMAX, and that has a 90% chance of receiving a PSA 10. And that's typically the case for modern cards. Now, you look at Burning Shadows. Now, Burning Shadows is a different set. Burning Shadows had a really, really bad print run, making it super duper difficult to get the cards graded. You could open up the pack. You could pull out a Rainbow Rare Charizard, which is that Charizard itself is the most valuable most valuable card in what is it called? Sun and Moon? Yeah, Sun and Moon. And the thing is that they probably won't reprint it because that set alone was a heavily printed set. Like that set was still out and available in 2020. But it's like my first booster box when I came back into the hobby, I pulled one towards the second to last pack, and that got a PSA 8.
Whoa,
Pack fresh PSA 8.
Yeah, and it was one of those
hate to
things.
see it.
I mean, it was my first card ever, so like I'm super sentimental of it. I mean, it's part of the reason why I have my first edition Shadowless Charizard. But now when I look at vintage cards, obviously people will pay attention to vintage cards, but like across the board, when I look at cards to invest slash buy, it comes down to how difficult it is to grade. That's the biggest thing behind it, as well as demand behind it. So even though Hidden Fates was a set that they keep printing, the thing is that part of the reason why they keep printing it is because there's so much demand behind it. People just love the set. So there's an aspect of being able to keep the sealed product. There's an aspect of having an entire hollow shiny vault master set graded as a PSA 10. Like people love shiny Pokemon, and that's another thing people look at. For me, population reports are the biggest thing. I look at things that are very difficult to grade, very difficult to acquire. As far as that goes, like a good example is the 1997 Cardis set that Ken Sugimori himself illustrated, and majority of the people out there slept on that set, but then all of a sudden it blew up in 2020, and it sort of maintained that value because this is a set that predates base set and just has a really, really low population. And so that's another thing. People look at Neo Genesis. That's an amazing set. It is extremely difficult to grade, and the populations themselves are super duper low. And so it's just one of those things where I look at things in terms of what has like the most potential, right? Like I stay away from modern for a reason, and that's because I want things to settle down 2-3 years before I actually put my money towards it. Because again, you we're in the middle of a like there's so much hype right now that PSA, BGS, they had to shut down majority of their services. So like you can't really get an accurate representation as far as these population reports go. And that's why like I don't really invest in any of that sort of stuff, because like I put my money towards something that's a little bit more sound. Even though Pokemon is a skeptical and one of those things where it's like it's probably not the best investment, so to speak, but we don't really know that yet because we're doing this right now. To invest in the modern side of the hobby, it becomes one of those things where it's like that's even more risky. There could be a higher payout, but like I just see things like Yizzy and I, we were talking about a conversation earlier where Wizards of the Coast, for unlimited stuff, that stuff is truly unlimited. Like they printed a lot of it. So when you look at the stuff, I know I'm babbling, but like I know when you look at the modern side of the hobby and you see how much of that stuff was printed, like you see how much they print this stuff out. Like in my eyes, that sort of stuff, the modern stuff in terms of print, is a tsunami against a ripple of what vintage is. And so like I just look at that when it comes to that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Just to answer your question, I don't know if that helps, but that's how I see things.
No, dude, that's
a
just
long-winded answer.
straight facts and education right there, my boy.
Yeah, that's a TikTok short right there.
Yeah,
No,
I like that, though.
that's like 5 TikToks right there.
What can YBMC? What do you mean by expanded set? I just never use. Maybe it's something I know. I just never use that term. I'm confused about expanded set.
Oh, okay. So expanded sets means expansion sets. So that's typically what drops every single year. Then you have your holiday set. So typically, around Christmas
so
time,
it's part of the main
you have
set.
your holiday set.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
So the
I didn't
different
know it was
that's
called
another
expanded.
thing. Pull rates play a big factor between expansion sets and holiday sets.
Yeah.
So expansion sets, the chase cards when it comes to expansion sets are way more difficult to pull versus a holiday set. A good example is Champion's Path, right? You pretty much have only a very little amount of secret rares, and you have that Charizard itself, and it's fairly easy to pull in compare, or even Shining Fates. Shining Fates is actually easier to pull in comparison to Champion's Path, as well as Hidden Fates. So like, it comes down to that. Expansion sets are just more difficult. Like you'll see people who will spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars buying, let's say Burning Shadows or Cosmic Eclipse, just be able to chase down one card, and it takes them such a long time because the sheer amount of volume of cards that are in that set.
Yes, that's so true.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. That's what I thought. I always called it part of the main set. That's what I called it. I never called it expanded.
Yeah. It's an expansion set. So like my question to you is like, before you're doing this venture right now, like this new venture that you're going after right now, what were you doing before? Like has it strictly only been content, or like have you ever gotten like any sort of sponsorships? Because like I know like as content creators, if you're growing, one of those things that's like, not all that, like it's not every moment where views are basically part of your income. It's like you're actually working with other people, or like tell us about some of the like the cool opportunities getting big on social media has presented you. Like tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, cool. So Pokemon aside.
Yeah, Pokemon aside.
Yeah, for sure. Man, like some of the most amazing opportunities, like one that I hope you guys get to go to one day is like VidCon. Like we got invited to VidCon as special guests. Come, we got the hotel for y'all. Just show up, invited guest passes, everything. And man, when you go there, it's like, you're standing in a party with your little guest pass, and next to you is like, you name him, like, you know what I mean? Like the biggest creators on the planet are just right next to you, shooting whatever, just talking to you. And it's crazy for like networking. And so like just opportunities like that. And then like, like another huge opportunity was like working with like Rainbow Six. So Ubisoft, they flew me out to San Francisco, which is crazy. They did this like prank on us where like Zane from David Dobrik was there, and like Anthony Padilla was there from Smosh. And there was just like some other bigger creators there too, in the like comedy section. Lenar Young, for those of you who know. and like just like little things like that, man. I've been blessed to work with like a lot of like brands and like different like clothing brands, different food brands, things like that, and it's like an honor when you get that email, that huge like email where you're like whoa, as if this is happening.
Yeah,
And
it's like validation. It's like it fuels you even further. Like that's bigger than a W.
yeah, exactly. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you feel like you've exactly what you said. You feel validated. You feel like, well, okay, like I am a part of this community because everybody doubts themselves at time. Everybody enters in
Uh-huh.
and is like, whoa, like you're kind of like on the inside, like looking around, but like it's like no, like yo, it's like I'm meant to be here. Like
Yeah.
this is what I'm supposed to do. So yeah,
What
Tell
that
would
me
you
that
about
say?
it going to some like card conventions, maybe.
yeah, Shivam was talking to me about that. Like as soon as so like in Canada, like they're making it where if you get like the
Oh.
2 vaccinations, you don't
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
have to quarantine anymore. And
Uh-huh.
so I'm just waiting for that moment where I get my second dose,
Yeah.
and I will be able to travel to the States once again in
Mm,
Yeah.
all glory, and just go there and come back
yeah.
smoothly. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I will definitely
Definitely.
be at some card conventions, 100% in the
Hey, we'll see you
community.
there. We'll see
We'll
you there.
see you there, yo, dude. We gotta link up.
Yeah.
What's like the biggest card convention? Like, what's like the VidCon? What's the TwitchCon? What's the E3 of card conventions?
So typically speaking, just for like networking and like I guess like before for like just strictly networking and just getting together with a bunch of people, it was Worlds. And I think, Worlds is great because like that's basically where people get together. That's where you see like the actual TCG gameplay and then you get to see who wins. It's great for like meeting other content creators, but you have a bunch of different collecting based sort of conventions. As of right now, I think this year so far, the biggest one is Collecticon, just because, um, they're just providing a powerhouse of special guests like Super Duper Danny, Real Breaking Nate, Gary King Pokemon.
Gary
They have
King Pokemon.
you have a bunch of
That's
different
okay.
like voice actors from like the dub anime of like My Hero Academia and stuff like that. So it's really
Whoa.
nice. And they also have like the original Black and Red Power Rangers there. It's really cool with who
Mm.
they're bringing. And it's one of those things where it's like this sort of niche sort of community where I think it's awesome. Yizzy, you want to tell us a little bit about your experience at Collecticon, like just to sort of give us that idea? Because like I obviously haven't gone, but
Yeah,
you
so
know
the
more about it.
reason I asked you about that when you said VidCon and experience, I could totally relate because I joined this
Hmm.
community like roughly about 2 years now,
Hmm.
and is it 2 years? Yeah, 2019, 2 years, and
Yeah.
do we find right before quarantine and all this stuff, and I never branched out to join a convention, and so I was part of the FGC, fighting game community, and like the esports teams, and
Oh, cool.
I loved interacting with like players and competitors, and so this was my first opportunity. They say announced Collecticon in March of this year, and I actually went. And I knew what to expect, but it was a lot better than I actually realized. Doing breaks, you're like, I don't know. Do you feel like there's like an entertainment aspect of with breaks, like people coming back, opening cards? Like, yeah, you buy 3 or 4 a blister pack at Walmart or Target, and you open it up, and that's the end of it. But with breaks, it's like you said, be Big Mac or Young Big Mac. He comes back, maybe whatever, whoever that gets into your breaks, you see him again, like in the
Mm.
breaks. So at Collecticon, it felt like we were doing like I do breaks too, and we were doing the breaks but live with everyone.
Oh,
And
that's
Yeah.
way cooler live.
Yeah.
yeah, so
And
something
I,
like
Like
that. That was
hearing the yelling and like the screaming of the reactions is probably
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, we
yes.
definitely we definitely want to see you there. Just to sort of start wrapping things up because I know you had to go, Jad. Tell us like one out of all the years that you've been doing all this. What is outside of it could be anything. What's one of the biggest highlights of your career as far as content creating goes? And you go ahead and plug yourself in because obviously I'm definitely interested in cop cards and what you're doing, whatever projects you're working on. It's always good to catch up with you and hear you see what's going on in your life. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I would have to say like, like one of the highlights of my like YouTube career is like, when your peers respect you, it's like a big like thing, because I have a lot of respect for like a lot of like bigger creators than myself.
Mm.
And so this was at E3. Um, this was in E3 was in Los Angeles, Staples
Mm.
Center, and like there's a team called FaZe, like FaZe Clan,
Yeah.
and I've been dabbling into esports as well, like with teams and stuff like that, and so um, we were at an event at E3, and FaZe Banks, who's like a huge leader of part owner of FaZe,
Yeah.
comes up to us and was like, "Yo, you guys are the Canadian boys. We're throwing this party at our house because we have some mutual friends." And this party was like the party, like the best party I've ever been to in my life. Like, there's like this, all the side men are there, like all the like, man, like they're just the coolest of the cool, and it's like a surrounding area where it's not like corporate. It's like just us, and so like just being there and like that was probably the highlight of my like YouTube career because I was a fan of. It's cool to admit that like you could be a fan of creators and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that was
That's
cool.
awesome.
And then in terms of Pokemon, I would have to say like back in the day, like when our video views were like for Pokemon stuff was like, dude, some of our like Pokemon openings were getting like 500,000 views, 400,000 views. So like that was a massive thing because it was like, whoa, like this is crazy. Like how many people like Pokemon? Like I didn't know this many people like Pokemon. Like so like that was crazy at the time. It was the 20th anniversary and stuff like that. So like that was like a big thing. But yeah, to final plug for those of you who are here, for the people who tune into the VOD, check it out, copcards.com. Whenever we do breaks as well, we have like a policy where like we always give out bonus cards at the end of our breaks. And so we'll give out one vintage. Usually we give out one vintage, one Japanese, and one modern card. And it's usually like pretty good cards. And the more like you're in the community, like we've given out PSA cards as bonuses to people, just as a thank you, for being like so like prominent in the community. So like that's our vibe.
Well,
And, yeah,
man, that's awesome. We're glad that you're doing this sort of venture. I mean, it's always cool to see, that sort of connection right there as far as cards go. So for those of you guys who do not know, we are sponsored by TCGstadium.com. TCGstadium.com is a online card shop where you can buy all your Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh products. You can go on there right now, TCGstadium.com as is, or you can go on Instagram. You can see that they follow us, follow them, get the inside scoop when it comes to that stuff. Get yourself some Pokemon product. I know a lot of you guys are definitely struggling and finding some Pokemon product, and that might be the place where you can get a lot of your Pokemon stuff or Yu-Gi-Oh items. And that's pretty much it. I don't think we really have a sleeper of the week because we are kind of running out of time. But yeah, anything that you have to
Japanese
say or add, Yizzy?
sleeper of the week is Japanese cards.
I'd say our sleeper of the week is Digimon cards. Let's do that. Y'all
The new
sleeping
set just
on Digimon
came
cards.
out. It's a pink
Yeah,
box.
the new set, dude. It is fire.
At
It
my
is fire.
game store, they have about 50 boxes, and they're
Jesus.
only $100.
That's a good price. Y'all really need to look into Digimon, watch the anime, find some appreciation with it, and that's all that we have to say. So, Chad, we have our signature way of signing off from the Poke Tea Time podcast. The way we do it is we get our teacups, our imaginary teacups, we sip up, we hit the deuces, and then we salute.
Salute. And before I go, I wanted to thank both of you so much for taking the time, inviting me onto your podcast.
Yeah.
You guys are doing great things. I'm a fan. I'm going to continue tuning into everything you guys are doing. And I'm ready to poke tea off.
Oh, can we start
like
that
that.
though?
I like that.
Let's go.
Poke tea. Oh, we doing
right,
it?
so
Okay.
yeah, we're doing
Sorry,
it.
I was feeling that right there.
Yeah, sips up, deuces, and we're out.
Appreciate y'all. Let's go.
Appreciate it.
Adios.